Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here with a review of the SH Figuarts Naruto Uzumaki, the #1 most unpredictable ninja from the original Naruto series, or Kid Naruto for short. This is a very special release because Naruto is my favorite anime, so it's a very special one for me, and it was like a must-have, and I'm sure for a lot of other Naruto fans it's going to be a must-have. He's looked great in product shots and whatnot, and now he's finally here. We finally got a definitive Kid Naruto to have on the shelf, and now people can finally stop buying those Target exclusive Ultimate Legends ones, which I never had a chance to pick up, but they did look pretty decent for the price. But this guy retailing at around 20 pounds, conversion rate from yen to pounds, with about £10 shipping, about £32 I think in total. He looks amazing. Articulation looks phenomenal. Accessories, the lot. So let's get a closer look at the box before we open up the figure. So I just want to say a quick shout out to Plaza Japan for shipping this out so quickly. I get a lot of questions on my TikTok and my Instagram about how I get my figures. This is the second day of release and I've already got it. Plaza Japan has rapid shipping, usually shipping the day before release of the actual figure. With DHL shipping, it gets here in a couple of days. So huge shout out to them. And if you want your figures on time, Japan pre-orders are always the way to go, even though they may be hard to find. I will try and leave a link in the description of one that's in stock. I doubt I'll be able to find a Japanese release, so it'll probably be a regional release, so it'll be in 2 months time it'll come out. Unfortunately, that's just the way things go. But yeah, if you want your figures day one, it's gonna have to be Japanese releases. But yeah, let's take a closer look at the box. So we've got Naruto here, and you've got the plastic obviously showing his accessories and the figure itself looking great, may I say. And you got a picture of him on the front. You got the name and the logo and all, branding and whatnot. You've got name and stuff on the back. On the side. You've got a picture on the side. You got loads of pictures of him on the back with posing and stuff. And you know what? I have to give it to them. They did some great posing pictures for this guy on the back, and just promo shots. So I can't wait to put him in some of these poses. So yeah, that's pretty much the box. Without further ado, let's crack this thing open. So here is Kid Naruto out of the packaging, looking great. And one thing I can say out of the packaging is he has no QC issues at all, unless I mess around with it a bit more and some uncover. But I have messed around with it for a couple of minutes just to make sure everything's fine and nothing's broken, because then obviously I'd have to contact the store and whatnot. But yeah, everything is perfect on this guy from what I can tell so far. Obviously, as we go further into the review, something might uncover itself, but it does seem all okay so far. It being made in Vietnam was an issue for people because Vietnam has not been great recently. The trunks has a lot of issues. Mine, not so much. It has a couple, but nothing that's major. The Toby Spider-Man has a very big amount of issues, which people seem to be ignoring because of what figure it is. Mine actually broke on me and I had to get a second copy. Second copy came and some of the issues were still there. Nothing that led to breakage of the figure, but yeah, nothing it wasn't great. Although the figure itself is really nice. But yeah, this guy seems to have no problems at all. Even with paint and stuff, he seems pretty good. So yeah, there's my first thoughts on the figure. Now let's get a look at the accessories. So here are Naruto's accessories, and he comes with a great amount of accessories for the price point of this figure. $30, and you're getting all this and a figure with amazing articulation. Yeah, he's a little bit small, but when you compare it to something like the Pan from Super Dragon... I was going to say Super Dragon Ball Heroes. That's not the right property. Dragon Ball Superhero. It puts it into perspective of how good value this guy is. And I think the price point is so low because of, the fact that he's got his clone jutsu, and it's one of the features to have multiple of this figure. So I am going to be picking up a few more when I get the chance, probably when he hits the UK shores. But yeah, he's looking great and his accessories are looking great. Let's take a closer look. So we've got his Rasengan here. That's looking amazing with, the swirls sculpted in and all the paint and shading. This is the perfect Rasengan. The other one that came with the adult Naruto was a little bit like a ball. And yeah, it looked okay. But that is the perfect one in my opinion. And just quickly, actually, he comes with the relaxed smiling face and the fisted hands on out of the box. He comes with a kunai knife, which he can hold. I don't know if he can hold it in his mouth. I've seen pictures where he has it in his mouth. I don't think that pegs in. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Maybe it was just like... I will try and place it in there later, but maybe it was just on the blue tack. He also comes with the kunai holding hands, which is always going to be helpful. I actually don't know how... I don't know if this screws or something, like how Trunks' sword is, but this is not fitting in there out of the box like that. I will have to refer to the pamphlet to see what's going on with that. I will let you know, though. I've got the relaxed hands. 2 of those. Everything's coming in pairs except for the Rasengan hands, actually. We've got the clawed hands. This is going to be a big one, and these look fantastic. Look at that. Claws on the end. You don't want to break these. You want to be very careful with these, but these are going to be some nice hands to have, especially when you're using that Ninetales face as well. So we've got the... I think this is for the Rasengan, I think. These are single hands. These aren't coming with anything else. You've got the... I think the hand to put over the top of the Rasengan with the second hand. And you've got the Rasengan holding hand. Rasengan's gone rolling and the camera's about to fall. Rasengan comes with a peg, and that just pegs in there like that, I think. There we go, like that. Probably just leave that like that for now, because it'll be a bit more practical later. Let me readjust the camera so it's back to normal. We've also got the Shadow Clone Jutsu hands. Fingers are very long. It's probably so you can do that and clearly tell. I'm pretty sure that's the reason, but yeah, just looking at it like that, they look very long. Kind of like, they kind of reminded me of the Kid Sasuke arms before they fixed him, but those are just hands, so it's not as big of a deal. Then we've got the Screaming Face. I'll give a closer look at that, actually. Let me not put that down so quickly. Screaming Face. We've got the Ninetales face. That one looks really good. If it can focus, and it's falling. This does not want to stay. There we go. Ninetales face. That looks amazing. You've got the Smiling Face. This is going to be a big one that you're going to want to use. That looks great as well. And then you've got the what the hell, I've just been hit kind of face. You're going to want to use that as well. Funny photos and stuff. But yeah, those are all the accessories. So let's take a closer look at Naruto. One thing I forgot to say is this kunai knife. It just... the top piece pops out. And then you slide it into his hand. And then you pop this piece back in. So guys, here's a closer look at Naruto. We've got his yellow spiky hair at the top, molding and all that, pretty good. We've got the Shinobi headband from the Hidden Leaf Village with the Hidden Leaf symbol on there. Very, very nice, buttons and everything detailed. We've got the silver paint. We've got the headband wrapping around very nicely. We've got the ribbon back there. Got the face sculpt looking great. No paint scratches on any of these. Very happy about that. We've got the nice collar wrapping around. You know, Naruto's iconic jacket from, you know, if you used to watch Naruto when you were small or when you were just a little bit younger, you would remember it. This is an iconic look. And I think they've really nailed everything from the zip to the colors of the patterns and the jackets, creases and whatnot. And even to this thing, I still don't know to this day what the hell this is supposed to be, but it's very cool, and it's an iconic thing for Naruto to have. Also, the iconic red swirl on the back, with the pouch to hold, you know, his shinobi accessories and whatnot. Not opening, by the way, but it does twist. We'll get into that with the articulation. Coming down to the legs, we've got the bandage with the kunai holder and the side there, wrapping around fully to around the thigh. We've got the, you know, more sculpting here, creases and folds all sculpted in, which look great. We've got his ankles being the same skin tone color as his fists and whatnot. Then we get down to the shinobi sandals. We've got the, you know, classic blue with the creases and the buckles and whatnot, all looking great. I think he looks fantastic. And like I said, I can't stop messing around with him. So let's get into the articulation. So looking at the articulation, we've got his head looking up about that far, looking down about that far. You're not going to get a full rotation out of this head, but you can have him looking side to side. It does the job pretty much. These are going to struggle to stay on, I reckon, because of the collar just popping them off. I reckon as you play around with it more, you'll probably get used to, you know, posing it in a certain way where these won't be coming off as much. One thing I recommend is when you're changing the faceplates is just to pop the head off. It comes off really easily. Change the faceplates and then just put it back on. You can see the bottom of the hairpiece is actually sculpted onto the neck rather than the hairpiece being one full piece. So yeah, and then you've got this which turns, I think it must be on a ball joint. Going to want to be very careful with that because it could be fragile. Coming down to the torso, we've got an ab crunch that goes about this far forward, which is phenomenal. That is exactly what you want. Going about this far back, which is pretty decent, your standard. We've also got a different crunch here at the waist, which allows the waist to crunch forward along with the chest and the waist to crunch back as well. We've also got a swivel coming to the arms. Arms can go up about that far, actually no, even further. That doesn't restrict anything. We've got butterfly joints as well, which also help with movement forward and back. We've got the rotation at the bicep. We've got the elbow articulation there. That is very, very, very nice range. We've got the wrist pegs, classic wrist pegs, doing the same hinges that they always do, and a rotation at the wrist as well. Then coming down to the legs can kick out that far. No looseness at the legs. Kick back about that far. Pretty decent. Kick out. He can do the splits. You're going to need him to do the splits in some of the poses. I feel like he's one of those characters that might do the splits. So yeah, that's great. You've got the thigh rotation. Perfect. You've got the double jointed knees kicking up about that far back. Really good. You've got a ball hinge at the ankle, allowing for extra foot range. That is amazing. You've got the foot kicking that far back and this far forward. Going to get you some decent range there. You've got the toes, which is going to be pivotal for crouching poses and whatnot. Then coming over to the back, you've got the pouch, which spins, just to move out the way of certain things. Then you've got this piece here, which is loose. It's always loose on jacket figures for Naruto figures. It's been loose since the 1.0s, and it always will continue to be loose, I think, just to allow for extra range and whatnot. But yeah, now we've seen the articulation, and it is phenomenal. Let's give him some alternate looks with his accessories. I would usually move on to the comparisons, but because he comes with so much accessories, I want to see some alternate looks for this guy. So yeah, so here we have Naruto in his Ninetales form. Yeah, man, this figure is amazing, and the clawed hands look great, as I showed you before. The face looks great. I don't know if I'm going to keep him on the shelf like this. I do want to get a few more because I'm going to have a lot of different versions. So yeah, when he hits UK shores, I'm picking up a couple of more, at least 2 more, if not more. Because having one like this is vital on the shelf. And then we're going to probably have one like this. So, you're going to want to have him with Screaming Face and Kunai knife in hand, crouching. And the crouching is amazing. I think he definitely gets into those poses that you want him to. And you might want to have him with the Rasengan. I want to see if I can change this on camera easily, because I feel like these hands, and I've pulled off the wrong hand, I feel like these hands go on him pretty easily, but they don't come off easily. So, and they're not loose either. So you're going to want to be a little bit careful because, you don't want to snap no pegs or whatever. But this joint also is slightly squeaky. I feel like it's a little bit tighter than I'd want it to be, but nothing that's going to break the figure. You just want to be careful. If any of your joints are seized up, silicone grease is the way to go, I think. Or maybe heating it up if you don't have any silicone grease. But yeah, silicone grease is probably the way to go with those. But yeah, you want to be careful because he is small at the end of the day. He feels very, very good quality though. Which surprised me. I was worried, with the whole Vietnam thing. They weren't producing the greatest things. So I was very worried. But yeah, you're going to want to have him like this as well. So this is the reason why you're probably going to need a few of them. He comes with a lot of accessories, a lot of display options. So he's looking great, man. I can't get over how phenomenal he looks and how he feels and how he's posing and whatnot. The one problem I feel like I have is the head movement range and whatnot. It feels a bit tricky to move the head. So that's probably my only problem with it. But yeah, he's looking great, and he feels great to pose and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of alternate styles and a lot of display options, so you'll be spoiled for choice, and that's probably why you'll want a few. But with all that said, let's get into some comparisons, because I want to see how he scales with the rest of the line. So starting off with the first comparison, the first one we had to make, Shippuden Naruto. And I don't know, is he too tall? I'm not sure. I think he is. I think he's a bit taller than he probably should have been. And he makes the Shippuden Naruto look way smaller. He doesn't look big, in my opinion. He makes Shippuden Naruto look small, but in terms of scaling with the rest of the line, Shippuden Naruto scales perfectly, so I think he is a bit tall. I think the face paint, like the skin tone on this figure, is way better than Shippuden Naruto. Look at Shippuden Naruto, he looks like grey, almost, compared to this one, to this skin tone. And I don't completely remember if that's just the Ninetales face that I've got him on display with. I don't think it is, but yeah, I think the skin tone on this new one is a lot better, and I think the colors are a lot brighter, which I do prefer on this one. So yeah, with that being said, let's compare him to some of the other figures in the line. Right, so here he's next to Kakashi, and I say this scales way better than he does with the, Shippuden Naruto. Shippuden Naruto is obviously a lot smaller than Kakashi as well, but, standing those two next to Kakashi, I feel like he is standing a little bit tall. I don't know if you want to have that justification as maybe being the end of the OG Naruto series where, everything's happened. He's going off with Jiraiya to train now, and that's the hype before he leaves. But I feel like that's a little bit tall. It could be probably half an inch shorter. I feel like it would be a lot more to scale. Maybe they would have struggled packing in a lot of articulation and stuff like that if they did that, and that's probably why he's a little bit taller. But I don't want to, completely be too generous to this figure, because as much as I love it, and I really do like it, I don't want to be too generous. He is a bit too tall, and he could have been a little bit smaller. But yeah, without further ado, let's compare him to the rest of the line. This is the one that throws me off. They're basically the exact same size, and that's probably going to highlight that he maybe is a little bit too tall. I don't know. I don't know really how Sakura would compare, like Shippuden Sakura would compare to a kid Naruto in terms of scaling, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be the same size. I feel like Sakura, even though she is a tiny bit taller, I feel like he should be, like I said, about half an inch smaller. So here he's next to the 1.0 Itachi. Pretty decent scaling. I feel like you would display these two together because they do meet in the OG series. So, yeah, I don't want to keep repeating myself. A little bit too tall. Should have been a bit shorter. And, yeah, I just don't want to keep repeating myself. I think the Sakura one highlights it the most, but this still looks pretty good. I think you'll easily get away with this. And yeah, these two look absolutely great together. Now, here's a comparison that I really wanted to do. This is Naruto compared to the SH Figuarts Kakashi, the 1.0 version. Apologies for the dust. This figure attracts a lot of dust, and he's now shedding it onto the cutting mat, which is a bit annoying. But, yeah, this look, I think looks great. I think this is the perfect sizing. And, obviously when you compare 2.0 to 1.0, 3.0 to 1.0, sorry. Yeah, that one is a little bit smaller because it looks a bit more realistic. These two are going to be on display together 100% because that is perfect scaling, and I feel like he's scaling way better with the OG figures, the 1.0s rather than the 3.0s, which isn't a good thing, but it works for my display, so I'm not going to knock it too much. Here he is next to the SH Figuarts Sasuke. Yeah, kind of highlights that it's a little bit tall again. Skin tone's a lot paler. I feel like on this one it's a lot better. So yeah, a pretty decent comparison, but yeah, not completely accurate. So guys, we have reached the end of the video, and some of my final thoughts on this figure. I think I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10, with just knocking off a half a point for the height. The height is not perfect. It's not at all like completely inaccurate, but it's not perfect, and the rest of this figure is perfect. The paint, the articulation, the joints, and just the quality was perfect, and the accessories and your value for money. So I think giving it a 9.5 is a very fair score, with just knocking that half a point off for the height. Overall, I would say you should pick this up, and I would recommend picking up a few, as there's so many display options that you're really spoiled for choice. And even now, I don't know how I'm going to display this one that I have on the shelf and with what accessories and whatnot. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick up a couple of more when I get the chance. But yeah, I do recommend you pick one up or pick a few up, because you know the shadow clone thing as well, it really makes sense to pick up more than one of this figure. But yeah, I will try and leave a link below on where you can get this in the UK. Please remember that it probably won't ship now because those are only Japanese releases, and it probably will ship in a couple of months. But I will have more pictures of this guy on my Instagram where you can see, you know, just how poseable he is and what type of pictures and shots that you can get with him. We'll also have a posing video on my TikTok. Both will be in the description below, so go and check those out. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe because we're almost at 100 subscribers. And don't forget to share with all your family and friends. And I'll see you in the next video.